Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, February 7th, 2019. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame, but before we get to the chart, just a quick housekeeping note. This will be the last pre-market video until next Tuesday morning. So next Tuesday, which is February 12th, will be the next pre-market video. This will be the last one until then. And right now, what you'll see here is price in the ES is very tightly coiled, very clear 5-day narrow range. You can see down here with today's session here that's still developing, obviously, we have a range that's a 54% of normal on a 5-day range basis, and that includes recent quiet behavior. So it's been very, very low volatility here. Price continues to hang on to the 2700 level for now, and the previous month's close, which is right around there. Any failure here could easily open up some sort of pullback here over the next few days. I've been mentioning that, but we haven't seen much weakness just yet. Right now, price is below the previous session's low, and it's testing the previous month's high and close here. So again, that's the key level. Failure here could open up a little bit more downside, perhaps as low as 2600. Maybe even lower, but we'll see. Again, this is a very narrow range that's kind of lost steam going up, and sometimes when it can't go up anymore, it kind of needs to flush before it can bounce. But again, right now, this market has been quite bullish. It's still on a path toward 2800, but we could pull back as deep as 2600 and still make it to 2800 down the road. So again, got to see what the next move is here for ES. But it's a very narrow range and could be range bound here for a little bit until we find directional bias out of this narrow range here. So let's take a look now at the NQ. You'll see here the NQ very similar at price action as well. Still sitting above the previous month's high. Still a narrow 4, 5, 6 day range. The volatility has been dropped, has been cut in half. Actually cut into a third basically of what it had been just a while back. That's a significant drop in volatility here. This one's still on a path toward 72s, but we could pull back as deep as 6500 and still make it to 7200. So again, how much of a pullback, if at all, do we get? Right now, everything is just quietly trending up until proven otherwise. Let's take a look now at crude oil. Here's a look at crude oil. Very, very quiet price action here as well over the last few days. For the most part, just trying to go back and forth within the 5-6 day range. In general, this is a narrow 20+ day range here, and that suggests major breakout potential soon. If you look at crude oil from kind of this higher time frame perspective here, we have kind of an inverted head and shoulder type of pattern developing. We could easily drop back as deep as 49s and still be a buying opportunity for a return trip back toward 55s. But if this market can find acceptance above 55, it opens up some upside here that can take us back towards 62, 63, maybe as high as 65 on a very quick basis just to get back across this range here. So again, things are coiling up, not quite seeing any expansion or volatility right now, but that could change here fairly soon. So again, got to continue to watch crude oil here as expansion could be significant down the road. If we take a look at gold finally, you'll notice that gold has pulled back nicely. It is starting to show some strength off the lows here. You're seeing rejection off the previous session's low. If you look at the intraday time frame, say a 15-minute chart, there's a rounded bottom down here, and price is starting to stair step higher off the previous low price here. This all looks very good for another buy the dip opportunity. I've been mentioning before that we could be pulling back into this pivot range and into the trigger zone and start to see strength. The next move again could be much higher. We could be looking for a push toward 1360 to reach the top of the range. So right now, very strong gold futures, and we could be looking at a very nice bounce after this recent pullback. So again, this is a spot right now where bulls are trying to defend. I mentioned before, 1300 is still the key level. Even as low as 1300 could be defended if this bounce fails. But right now, all signs pointing up at the moment. After this pullback into the trigger zone and the pivot range in the uptrending market, everything suggests another push higher. And from this low, today's low, if today's low remains intact, you can see right here, this is your primary target right there, between 1343 and 1357. by the end of the month. Again, the high target right there would be 1360, and above there you start to see rejection likely back toward value, which would be 1287.60. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care.